Like even after the kiss scene with Emily saying it's just another Tuesday.
Want to order a pizza? It's like
Right,
what?
yeah, like it's like don't worry. It's
It was fun to have the revelations be what they are, but to not make it judgmental. It was fun to watch my cast embrace that.
Hi, Paul. It's so wonderful to see you. I really enjoyed the film, so congratulations on that.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
It is so just funny and chaotic as all movies really, should be. And I just want to ask, I mean, a sequel, there wasn't a sequel book to the first film. So was this always on your mind or when did this come about?
It kind of came around, started the seed kind of got planted during the pandemic when the movie just started getting watched a lot on streaming.
Yeah.
And then there was just kind of we're getting interest from outside about possibly a sequel. And I always don't normally do sequels, but just started thinking, I don't know, these characters are great, and I love working with Blake and Anna. We had so much fun on the first one. It was like maybe we do it, and we just got to figure out how to make it as good or better than the first one, which is that's the hardest, most intimidating part. But we, I'm really happy with it. It took a long time to get it right, but I'm really happy with what we ended up getting, and I'm glad we did it. I tried to kill it many times because I was so afraid we were going to screw it up, but thank goodness, Laura Fisher, my producing partner, just kept pushing me.
Was there a moment then, I mean, I know you probably can't give away too much, where you actually were like, okay, no, this sequel is going to work, and like what really brought that moment for you?
I think it was, I mean, you don't want any spoilers or anything, but I think it was the idea of the twist was what really made me kind of go, yeah, this could be fun. And I brought it up to Blake, and she was like, oh man, I don't know. I was like, you can do this, right? And she goes, yeah, I can do this. So that was when I went, okay, this is gonna be fun because this surprised even me when we came up with it.
Yeah, but I feel like it was like there were seeds planted in the first one. Like even though, there wasn't intentions for a second one, but then you look back and you're like, okay, wait, like
Well, that's what I loved about it. That it kind of organically came from what do we do, what do we do, and then one of our writers was like, you've got this thing from the first movie, right? And it's like, oh, we didn't even think of that, and that changed everything.
and I mean you talked about, the worry of sequels and how you do better than the other one, especially when it became so memeable, so big, how much people enjoyed it, especially just Emily and Stephanie's relationship. And there's especially that kiss scene in the first one. So were you worried at all about just like topping that?
Yeah, I mean, because I love that moment in the first movie. I think it's so beautiful and unexpected, and completely justified, and all that. And it was like, yeah, you kind of you don't want to just put something in to repeat something, but at the same time, that's a great dynamic, and but that's kind of defines these characters and their relationship, this weird attraction they have for each other that they deny, but it's kind of great, and so yeah, I wanted to have that dynamic in this, but not make it feel copycat, and so I was really happy with the way that we did it, that it's a different thing, but kind of the same thing at the same time.
Were you surprised with how much queer audiences really latched onto these characters and the tension between them and just how much like representation they really saw in them?
I was thrilled by that, I mean, because that's, one thing that's really important to me to have that kind of representation and to have it resonate that way. And so it was just something that we were all really pleased with and wanted to make sure that we had more of in this one because it's such a important audience to us, but it's so part of these characters too, it's really it's who they are. Their sexuality is so kind of fluid with their personalities in a way that feels very real to me. It feels very that attraction between friends and people who know each other or people who don't like each other, is a very interesting thing to explore. And so yeah, it was really fun to kind of figure out the best way to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with the part about it just feeling organic. Like even after the kiss scene with, Emily saying it's just another Tuesday. Like
Right.
Don't worry about it.
You want to order a pizza? It's like,
Right,
what?
yeah, like it's like don't worry, it's it's totally normal. And I loved just you talking about bringing more of those in because I would say the sequel has even more queer representation and other storylines as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, is it safe to say we're making this for the gays? Like they're going to love it.
Yeah, I mean, that's always my hope, yeah, it was fun to have the revelations be what they are, but to not make it judgmental, in a weird way. Like it's even, we're kind of justify the one kind of reveal about, one of our characters as it's disapproving because it's two rival gang families, and it's not somebody's, hung up or whatever. And that was important to us to make it not feel old fashioned judgmentally that way. Yeah, and it was fun to watch my cast embrace that.
And the first, I mean, both movies have an impeccable cast. The first one especially, I mean, it had Linda Cardellini and Jean Smart, and I am sad that Jean did not make her return, but there are some other great casts. Can you just talk a little bit about how that came to be?
Yeah, I mean, we got everybody back. Yeah, the only person we couldn't get is Jean because her schedule is insane because she's in everything ever made now. Um, but it was fun to be able to call up Elizabeth Perkins, who I've worked with many times, and say like, "Hey, would you mind slipping into this role?" And and she just killed it. She's so funny and so so good at playing this weird character. Yeah, yeah, but then everybody else kind of wanted to come back, and even down to the kids, and when the last time you worked with kids and they were 5 or 6, you're like, I don't know if they're going to be good actors or not. It turned out they both turned into be really good actors. I mean, little Ian Ho turns into an amazing performance. Like I was talking to him all last night and going like, you are a really good actor, my friend, like keep at it. Yeah, and getting Henry back, was fun and telling, Henry, okay, we're going to make you kind of a shitty guy this time. He's like, make me the worst guy ever. It's okay. And he said, give me a really terrible death. I'm like, okay, we can do that.
Allison Janney as well. Like it truly is such a fun ensemble that you created.
Thanks.
Um, and just to close this out, I mean, I love seeing where Emily and Stephanie are now. Obviously, they've both been through some changes since last time we saw them. Can you just talk a little bit about what you really wanted to see from their characters this time around?
Yeah, well, I wanted to advance them. It's you don't want to. I knew we couldn't go back, and Stephanie's a little timid. Timid mom again. Like she went through the fire with Emily the first time and won, so she's a more mature, advanced person. So I didn't want anybody to backslide. And so, when Emily comes back into her life, is she going to be scared? She's going to be shocked, but then she's going to take her on, versus in the bookstore, she's not like, oh, and like worried. She's like, why are you here? And she's going toe to toe with her, because we had to justify why. Well, first, we want to advance the character, but also you go like, okay, why the hell would Stephanie go to Italy with a person who tried to murder her? you know, but it's because she's now a different person who is so smart and also has conquered Emily once before, and she's going like, I got to know what she's up to. Why does she want me there? I have to know this. That's Stephanie has to solve things. That's in her DNA now, and so it was that allowed us to kind of take them and advance them, and then get in over your head as people always do in these movies. But to not make them feel like they're backsliding at all.
And is it always important to make sure that the relationship is so complicated? Like, I don't think we'll ever be able to see them be, truly friends, truly enemies. It's always just this somewhere in between.
Yeah, if they're fast best friends, the movie's going to get really boring. you know, drama and comedy are all about conflict, and even in moments like in the when we were test screening this, we had some stuff at the end where they were really friendly. Well, actually, in the first one, we had a thing where they were friends when Emily was in jail, and then it's like 6 months later, and Stephanie goes to meet Emily, and Emily's giving her tips about, people, these clues that she's found out about cases she's trying to solve, and they're like buddies, and the audience didn't want anything to do with it. They really did not want them bonded as friends. And I get it because it's just more exciting to see them. They're almost friends. Oh, it falls apart. They're almost, but that's why they're so interesting because they are two people who complete each other and they hate that they complete each other. And so it's so much like a great relationship, it's like a great marriage.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. Congratulations on the film, and thanks for
Thanks, Caitlin. I appreciate it.